You ever get that feeling the internet is like reading your mind? From the ads you see to the next show that pops up in your queue, it all comes down to this one really powerful idea: big data. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain and demystify the engine that pretty much runs our entire digital world.
I mean, think about it. You finish binge watching a show and boom, right there, Netflix has the perfect next one ready to go. How does it do that? Is it some kind of magic? Well, not exactly. It's actually a masterclass in using big data, and we're about to show you exactly how they pull it off.
Okay, so to really get how Netflix works its magic, we first have to talk about the term at the center of it all. We hear big data thrown around constantly, but what does that phrase actually, mean?
At its heart, it's pretty simple. Big data just refers to information that's so massive, coming in so fast, or is so complex that your regular, everyday software just can't deal with it. We're talking about a scale of data that's so huge, it forces us to invent completely new ways of processing information. Now, to really get a handle on this, experts have broken it down into 5 key characteristics. They call them the 5 Vs. You can think of these as the 5 big challenges that make this data so difficult to work with, but also so incredibly powerful. So first up is volume. And we mean volume. We're not talking about gigabytes anymore, we're in the world of petabytes. To put that into perspective for you, Facebook processes over 4 petabytes of new data every single day. That is the equivalent of 13 years of nonstop HD video daily. Next is velocity, the speed of it all. Because this data isn't just huge, it's coming at you at lightning speed. Just picture the stock market, where millions of transactions are happening every single second. That data has to be captured and analyzed in pretty much real time to have any use at all. Then you've got variety. See, big data isn't nicely organized in neat little rows and columns like a spreadsheet. No way. It's messy. It's all of your social media posts, your photos, videos, emails, even data from sensors. All this unstructured stuff is a huge, huge piece of the puzzle. And that brings us to veracity, which is really all about quality and trust. I mean, with all this data flying in from millions of sources, how much of it can you actually rely on? Some of it might be incomplete, inaccurate, or just total spam. A massive challenge is just filtering through all of that noise to find what's true. And finally, maybe most importantly, we have value. Because let's be honest, a giant pile of raw data is completely useless by itself. The entire goal of wrestling with all this volume, velocity, and variety is to turn it into something useful, to pull out insights that help us make smarter decisions. Okay, so if one single computer, even a super powerful one, can't handle data this big and this fast, how on earth is it done? Well, the answer required a total shift in how we approach computing itself. Think about it like this. The old way to solve a huge problem was to build one massive, incredibly expensive computer and just let it grind away at the data for days or even weeks. The new way is way smarter. Instead of one giant brain, you connect thousands of regular, cheaper computers together and have them all work on a small piece of the problem at the exact same time. This whole concept is called distributed computing, and it really just works in 3 simple steps. First, you distribute the problem. You chop up a giant data set into thousands of tiny, manageable pieces. Second, you process all those pieces in parallel, with each computer tackling its own little chunk. And finally, you aggregate. You just collect all the individual results and combine them into one final answer. It's basically teamwork, but for computers. All right, so now that we've got the theory down, let's circle all the way back to our original question and solve this mystery. How does Netflix seem to read your mind? First, you just have to appreciate the incredible scale here. With hundreds of millions of subscribers, Netflix processes more than 1 trillion, with a T, data events every single day. That's every click, every search, every time someone pauses a show, from everyone, all at once. So the journey begins the second you open the app. From that moment on, literally everything you do is a data point. What you search for, which trailers you watch, even how long you hover your mouse over a specific title, it's all being captured instantly. All of that data, petabytes of it, gets sent to these massive distributed storage systems in the cloud. And it's not just your viewing history. It's also all the little details about every single movie and show, from the genre to the actors to the colors used on the poster. Now, here's where the real magic happens. This is the processing step. Powerful algorithms running across thousands of computers start analyzing all that data in real time. They're looking for patterns, connecting your viewing habits with millions of others to figure out what you're most likely to enjoy next.
And the final step is what you actually see on your screen. Within seconds of you pausing a show, that whole system has already updated your homepage with a new set of recommendations tailored just for you. From data collection to insight to action, all in the blink of an eye.
So does it work? Oh yeah. A staggering 80% of everything watched on Netflix is driven by these recommendations. The system is so effective at keeping people engaged that the company estimates it saves them over $1 billion a year by preventing customers from canceling their subscriptions. But look, Netflix is just one example. These same principles, collecting huge amounts of data and processing it in parallel for instant insights, are completely transforming almost every industry you can think of. Seriously, think about it. In healthcare, it's analyzing millions of patient records to spot disease patterns earlier. In finance, it's the system that flags a fraudulent credit card charge the very moment it happens. It's the engine that personalizes your online shopping. And it's the core intelligence that's optimizing traffic routes and even guiding self-driving cars.
And this technology is moving at such an incredible speed. What seemed like science fiction just a few years ago is quickly becoming the new standard. This really captures the whole revolution perfectly. We've gone from a world where analyzing data took weeks to a world where we get insights in seconds. And in today's world, being able to use big data isn't just some nice competitive edge anymore. It has become an absolute necessity for survival. So this leaves us with a pretty big question. We've seen how data can recommend a movie, stop fraud, and even improve healthcare. As we generate more and more of this incredibly valuable resource, the possibilities are, well, they're practically limitless. The only real question is, what are we going to build with it next?